What is going on, guys? Trey coming back at your screen by means of the World Wide Web, and I wanted to start by getting into our prize highlights today for the Pinata Bash special dungeon event. So first off, and probably the biggest highlight of this event is going to be our gear, guys. We got some pretty sweet gear going on this time around. Only if you evolve it though. The Charo head is really nothing special at all. That's just junk. But once, hopefully, you're able to get enough of them in order to form the Mariachi hat, which is a pretty nice piece of gear, actually. Adds 1,195 agility, which is impressive as all get out. So it makes your fighter very fast with a chance to proc preempt adept. So of course we all know what preempt is. It is a very good move based off of attack. It is only the adept version, but I mean, just the amount of agility it adds alone makes this a special piece of gear. And on top of that, it just able to proc preempt adept. I think that's a really good piece of gear, guys. Personally, I think it'll be perfect for a champ. I can hardly think of a better gear to put on a champ than that, honestly. That would just take my dread and just make it into a just, oh my goodness, he'll just destroy things if he procs. So hopefully it doesn't have a horribly low proc rate on some 3% type junk. I'm hoping it's, at least decent, maybe around 5 to 10% at least. That'd be excellent. But we'll have to see. I'm pretty sure no one has this as of yet, so we'll learn more on it maybe when we do Harpy's Horde. The next pieces of gear here, we got the Pinata rare form, and then its epic form, the Bonanza Pinata. The rare would be pretty decent if it had a skill, but unfortunately it doesn't, so nothing special there. But this epic got Smash Elite, 1580 attack, which is super nice. I'm pretty sure it'll have a pretty decent proc rate. I'm guessing maybe a minimum of 10%. But another thing I'm also going to guess is that this 1580 attack will be once it's self-fused to the max. I'm pretty sure this ain't going to be a 0 for 0 or 1 for 1 type piece of gear here. You're probably going to need to fuse quite a few of these rares together to make plenty of epics to max it out, and then be able to get that 1580 attack. But either way, I'm sure if it's only at 0 self-fuses, it's still going to be a pretty good piece of gear, guys, for sure. So you may want to get your hands on that Bonanza Pinata. I'm certain that's going to be our Harpy's Horde reward if you're able to complete all 10 levels. So go for it, guys. Good gear here for sure. Now to move on to our heroes this time around, we have starting with Oyeb. So Oyeb fits this event to a T. I mean, he's playing the guitar and got on his sombrero type hat and in his colorful gear and just playing music away. So this guy was just made for this event. So I'm liking his look. I really am. But to get on with the information about him, he is an Earth Warlock. So he's going to have the wisdom, the attack, and the so-so HP. To get down into his off-edge stats, he has 3,289 HP, 4,146 attack, 1,088 defense, 3,782 wisdom, and 722 agility, for a total stat base of 13,027. So this guy has Daze Elite, which is a new skill for an epic fighter, guys. On Daze with a 1 cooldown, it reduces the wisdom of one of the enemies that may happen to pop up during your fight. So if this procs, then someone on the enemy team is going to have their wisdom reduced. So this guy here, guys, honestly, I'm thinking he's going to be more of strategic purposes than anything else, guys. I don't think there's really going to be much use for him other than that. So if you're going to grab these, it's probably going to be for strategic use. Or if you want, really the only other thing he could possibly be used for would be attack superfuse fodder, which if you were to use him, you would get 497. Usually I would not even consider that. I like 500 and up. I usually don't even consider it for superfuse fodder, but 497 is only 3 off of 500, so I figured I'd at least mention it. I personally probably still wouldn't use him as superfuse fodder, but he's really close to that 500 minimum mark that I like to establish for myself. So yeah guys, a couple of reasons you can use Oyeb, and that's what we have. So next we have Quetzalcoatl. So vicious looking thing here, big old bat snake looking thing. So yeah, he's kind of ugly guys, but that's what we're going with this time around. So to get into this fighter, he's definitely going to be lightning type, and judging by his stats and everything else, it appears he's going to be a rogue. This video is being made during the second day of the event, so we don't have much information on it yet, but I'm pretty certain he's a lightning rogue. So he's going to have the agility for sure, and this one actually has a nice amount of attack too guys. So to get into his stats, 2,811 HP, 4,275 attack, 1,461 defense, 881 wisdom, and 4,433 agility for a total stat base of 13,861. So nothing too impressive. Single target, one cooldown, sting elite. It's based off of agility, so we've been seeing these very often guys. I don't know why they putting out so many one cooldown sting elites. I don't get it, but they have been dropping a ton of these things lately. So if you're still using them, I guess you'll find use for him. But other than that, this guy's probably going to be superfuse fodder, unfortunately guys. So if you were to use him, you would ideally want to use either attack, which you would get 513 of, or you would want to use agility, which you would get 531 of. And that's about it for this guy. Really no other reason you'd want him, honestly. Not that I can think of anyway. So that is all we are going to be discussing for Quetzalcoatl at the moment. The next fighter we're going to be talking about here is Moreau, the rhinoceros with the big horn, and I guess that's armor or whatever on his back. Looked like just a pale rhino to me. But to get down into the information about this guy, it looks like, wait a minute, you know what I just thought about? Quetzalcoatl, is he lightning? I don't know, I might have messed up here. Maybe he's air. Yeah, Quetzalcoatl is air, guys. I apologize for that. Quetzalcoatl is an air fighter, not a lightning fighter. Just so you know, wrong element. My bad. Moreau is actually our lightning fighter out of the first three here. So Moreau is a lightning champ. So he's going to have the HP, the attack, and the defense for sure, guys. So to get down into his stat base, 3173 HP, 3587 attack, 6504 defense, 324 wisdom, 279 agility, for a total stat base of 13,867. So he has counter elite with a one cooldown based off of attack. So of course, counter, basically if you attack this guy when he's ready to proc with an attack based move, then he is going to hit you back. It's basically how that works. So really guys, nothing too impressive with this guy besides defense superfuse fodder, which if you were to use him for that, you would get a whopping 780 of it, which is quite impressive. That is a nice number for defense superfuse. So if you're able to get this guy, pretty much the only thing you're going to want to use him for is defense superfuse fodder, guys. Other than that, he's really nothing too super fantastic. He's quite tanky. Maybe if you want to keep him and use him in a different dungeon besides this one after the event is over, maybe you can possibly do that. But I can't think of anything else. That's about it for this guy. So we're going to stop right there for part one of this video, but I at least want to bring you guys some comparisons of perhaps similar fighters. So usually we would be comparing Oyeb, guys, but we're not going to compare him to anything because he, to my knowledge, is the only epic fighter that has the Daze skill, guys. So there's nothing else that is rocking that Daze that is an epic. To my knowledge, the only other fighter that has it is the rare form of a fighter we got last dungeon, I believe it was, Hayoka Takini, the one that's riding the horse backwards. Yeah, that guy. His rare form has Daze. I can't think of any other fighter that has that skill besides him. So this is our first epic to have that skill. So we're just going to let him be for now. We're not going to too much worry about comparing him. But maybe we'll get a fighter down the line we can compare him to. So the next fighter we'll go ahead and compare is Quetzalcoatl. And we're going to be comparing this one to a familiar face here, guys. He came pretty close to Piperus here statistically. So if you were to compare the stats here, they're both 3-1 on the cooldown, Sting Elite. So to get into the stat difference here, Quetzalcoatl is beating this guy in every category, but it's not by much, guys. To get down into it here, Quetzalcoatl, 19 more HP, 26 more attack, 9 more defense, 6 more wisdom, and 26 more agility, for a total stat base of 86 more points than Piperus. So in all honesty, if you are using Piperus, I personally wouldn't spend the bitters, nucks, or whatever else in order to upgrade to Quetzalcoatl. It really is just barely worth it. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, it's not worth it. There's such similar fighters. You're better off just keeping your Piperus and just using him for the time being. So that's pretty much the deal with these two guys. They're really similar. The only main difference is the elements. Piperus is water, Quetzalcoatl is air. So you may need both elements. These are two elements we don't come across too often. So you may just want to keep both of them if you're using them already. But if you have Piperus, guys, there's really no need to upgrade. You don't need to bother doing that at all. And last but not least, we will usually be comparing Moreau here. But I didn't bother comparing him either, guys, because although we have plenty of champs with the counter skill, we hardly have any that has that. The stat difference was just too much. I was looking at a couple of comparisons, but there's just nothing with that type of defense. So this guy is a counter fighter that has really high defense, but has moderate, pretty average HP and attack. So although he may be able to counter often, his counter is not going to hit as hard as some of our other counter fighters that we have. So statistically, I felt they were too different, so I didn't even bother comparing them this time around. Hopefully we can get something a little closer down the line, guys, to compare this guy to. But for the meantime, we're going to leave him be. So that is going to be it for part 1 of our prize highlights for the Pinata Bash, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please continue to like, subscribe, favorite, share, comment, and everything else. And I will be back at your screen with more soon, guys. Later.